Kentucky Democratic Governor Andy Beshear is calling on Republican Senator Mitch McConnell to provide proof of his capacity to serve or resign. McConnell's office said yesterday the 84-year-old has not been medically cleared to leave the rehabilitation facility where he has been undergoing physical therapy. Senator McConnell was hospitalized on June 14th due to a fall.
So it is now day 49 of the hospitalization of Senator Mitch McConnell. If he is still here, we're going to peek around the corner and determine if his Capitol Police presence is still here. But given that we haven't seen any official announcement from his office saying that he has been fully discharged from the hospital, not discharged from hospital care and into rehabilitation. So the rehabilitation is supposedly still occurring here week 7. And look at that, we've got Capitol Police here. So I saw a lot of people in the comments of my video yesterday, because I think this is a horrible post to be in as Capitol Police. I think it's a step down from Guantanamo Bay, and I'll explain why in my next video. But there is a post at Capitol Hill. It's known as Buttons or Button, and I'll explain that in my next video. But I think this post is like being trapped in buttons.
Welcome, friends. If you love this great country as much as I do, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with your friends and family. It helps get the truth out to more folks like us.
Republicans that are unfortunately fighting against the SAVE Act. There's a uniparty, guys, that we're about to expose. That's why I love it. Kash Patel is on it. The whole MAGA party is on it. He said, unfortunately, there are 8 Republican senators implacably opposed to passing the voter integrity law as it would require ending the filibuster. Okay? I want to give you those names. Okay? Here are the 8 names. Okay? Based on current discussions, reports circulating through them all, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Rand Paul, Mitch McConnell, there's no surprise there, Tom Tillis, Todd Young, Chuck Grassley, and Jerry Moran. These are the ones that reportedly are the ones opposing passing the voting integrity law. Can you see this right here, guys? Again, it matters to know the receipts. It matters to know who they are. It matters to know what's happening behind the scenes, because everything that's happening in Congress, it's only happening because we are draining the swamp right now. We're exposing all the names. Here are the names again. We're draining the swamp. We're making sure that people know the truth of why things are not getting done in the Senate. Everybody's like, well, why aren't they doing it in the Senate? Why aren't they passing the voter ID law? They've already done it in the House. Well, guess what? When you've got 8 Republicans that won't do what they need to do to pass it, that's where we are constantly fighting all of this internal.
The Save America Act. Everybody wants it. Everybody is it, including Democrats. 87% of Democrats want it. Not the leaders, because they want to cheat. Their policy is so bad, they're unelectable.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett. I saw where Mitch McConnell was blocking the SAVE Act this morning. I think it's partially just out of meanness. He doesn't like Trump, and Trump got him in office. Sadly enough, he helped him in that last race extensively. And that's one thing I value in this game is loyalty, and apparently he doesn't. But he's blocking the SAVE Act. Or is he? Is it him or a staff member? Because, as you know, he's a lot like Joe Biden was in his last few days in office, or last years in office, last 4 years really. His cognizant level is diminishing daily. And I've always remembered we had a chairman of a committee, and I asked in committee, in our conference meeting, I asked if how much money was in this bill. And she responded, I don't know, next question. And I said, no, how much money is in this dadgum bill? And his immediately staffers were like, you can't be asking that, you can't be asking that. Well, dadgummit, this thing ain't supposed to be some retirement village. It's supposed to be the United States Congress and the Senate. But here's what it's turned into. And it is wrong. You've got staffers that are running this thing. The lady that I asked those questions of, it turns out for over 6 weeks, she never showed up and nobody knew where she was. But her staff kept running the office. And she was in a in a retirement village for people that were in cognizant decline, to put it lightly. And that's what's going on in Washington. You've got these staffers, again, that are too close to the lobbyists, too close to whatever, and they're running the show. And it needs to stop. I've called it out. I've called it out to our leadership, and they do nothing about it. But this is where we're at. The SAVE Act is stopped because Mitch McConnell. And he's got a staffer that's running his show, not him. So anyway, it's a pitiful state. You need to get a hold of our leadership and let them know this cannot continue. It cannot continue. Thank y'all for sending me here.
Folks, gather round. Let me tell you something straight from the heart. I am speaking to you today the way an old American who has seen a whole lot of sunrises and sunsets over this great land likes to talk. I am sitting here on my porch this beautiful Sunday evening, just looking out over the rolling green hills. I am thinking deeply about what it really means to love this country with every single bit of your soul. It is a feeling that warms you right down to your toes. And right now, there is a true, important story happening in Washington that the big TV news folks do not want you to look at too closely. They're trying to hide the full picture, but the timeline does not lie, and neither do the hardworking, honest people of Kentucky, who just want the simple truth. Our Senator Mitch McConnell has been away from the United States Capitol for nearly 50 straight days now. It all started back in the middle of June. He had a tough fall at his home and ended up needing serious medical care. After that, he had to spend time in a healing center to try and get his strength back. Because he has been trapped away, he has missed dozens and dozens of very important votes. The Senate has been working on huge, critical issues that matter deeply to every single family in America. They are voting on things like giving our brave military the support they need, making sure our borders are completely safe, and keeping our economy growing strong so folks can put food on the table. Independent writers and regular, everyday people from Kentucky have been asking for more honesty about how he is really doing. The pressure is growing every single day. People are gently saying that if he cannot fully do his job for the voters, maybe it is time to step aside and let someone else help the state. There are some big political deadlines coming up this very week. The old politicians want to keep this quiet behind closed doors. But we, the people, are watching closely, and we are tired of the secrets. We just want openness. Now, let me be very clear about something very important. This is not about being mean to a man who has served a long time. We wish him healing, but this is about what putting America first really means. It means putting the people first every single day with a strong, joyful energy that never, ever quits. And nobody shows that amazing spirit better than our 45th and 47th president, Donald J. Trump. While some of the older politicians are stuck because of health troubles, our president is out there every single morning. He is fighting harder than ever for the forgotten men and women of this beautiful country. He is the one who never slows down. He looks at the messy political swamp and says with a smile, "We are taking our country back." That is the kind of brave, strong leadership that actually fixes things. That is the kind of heartwarming leadership that makes a hardworking farmer in Kentucky or a tired factory worker in Ohio feel like someone in the White House finally hears their voice and truly cares about their family's future.
Here's very frail, very feeble Mitch McConnell, who's, I think, been in office for more than 30 years, approximately, right? More than
yeah, 40 years, over 40 years, better.
Over 40 years. Goodness gracious. Okay. So he's been in office longer than I've been alive. And here he is. He's saying he's a no on the SAVE Act. He says he's a no. He's asked this. I haven't actually seen this clip. But he mumbles out that he won't vote for the SAVE Act as he needs, physical assistance to even just move. What does it say about our ruling class here? Nate?
You know, it's sad, Benny. It's a really sad state of affairs. And that's why I've been so clear about my campaign. You know, I said I'm going to serve 2 terms and be done and give it to the next generation. We need term limits in this country. We don't need people making their career in politics. And Benny, just before I got in the race, you know I'm not a politician. I've never run for office before. I saw 2 people that were in the race, and I said, look, if I don't get in as a business guy and an outsider and disruptor, we're going to get 40 more years of Mitch McConnell. These guys need the job that are running. These guys need the paycheck. And I think in the spirit of our founders, we need people that are going to come in and serve and shake it up and stand with the people and do their job and go home and give it to somebody else when their time's up. And Mitch McConnell has hung around the hoop so long. And I think most alarmingly, Benny, he's voted and he represents against the interests of the people of Kentucky. You know, Trump carried Kentucky by over 30 points. And when he's voting against all his picks and he's voting against things like the SAVE Act, he's actively thwarting the will of the people of Kentucky. And I think that's what's so disgusting.
Yes.
And that's why we got to have a clean break come May here in this primary.
The system can't continue like this. The system can't continue because it'll break. I mean, people will just totally crash out. I think you're seeing that in New York. They'll turn to communism. They'll turn to socialism. They'll get desperate if they keep voting for something in a democracy, and they're not the majority doesn't get what they're voting for.
That's right.
They'll completely crash out. They'll lose their minds.
Yeah, the people of Kentucky have made it clear where they are. I mean, this is Trump country. We haven't seen a political figure like this in Kentucky since the 1800s. And so it's very clear about where our people stand. And I think, you know, you've got somebody like Mitch McConnell. I mean, Benny, he's been in there before the internet was created. I mean, what do you possibly know about the challenges of working Kentuckians, working families that are trying to put food on the table, trying to pay the light bill, trying to go to the grocery store? He hasn't been in the real world in over 40 years. And now he's got 2 of his puppets that are running in this race to try to make another run for another 40 years for his cronies and his lobbyists and all the people so they can get paid for generations more. So that's why this race is so important, Benny. I think it's going to send shockwaves when we win, that this is a new Republican Party. This is the party of the future, and this is Donald Trump's Republican Party right here in Kentucky.
Yeah, I got to tell you, working up close with some of the Mitch McConnell people when I was back in D.C., like they have the most grotesque lobbying operation. His entire office was just like a cesspool of parasites that Mitch McConnell personally placed throughout the government in order to make him filthy rich and in order to sell the American people. I saw it firsthand. It is grotesque. That like 20-headed hydra needs to be cut off. It really does. You're exactly right. This is why we endorse Nate Morse. This is why, Nate, bro, I went and campaigned with when like Biden called us garbage. Like I went and rode in a garbage truck with Vivek for a Trump campaign stop. We should do that, man. I will come to Kentucky.
Hey,
I love Kentucky. Let's go do that. I'm going to do a campaign.
Kentucky, I'll fire up the garbage truck. We will drive all around the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of trash to pick up. And there's a lot of trash.
Think about what this moment really means for everyday American families sitting around the kitchen table tonight. Right now, moms and dads are carefully watching every single dollar. They're looking at grocery bills, gas prices, and thinking about the safety of their quiet neighborhoods. They're watching President Donald Trump work around the clock, pushing for safer borders, strong American trade, and clean energy from our own rich land, so we never have to beg foreign nations for anything. When important votes in the Senate get delayed because someone is away for almost 2 months, it slows down the bright momentum of the America First movement. Everyday people feel that delay in their own pocketbooks and daily lives. A loving mom trying to stretch her small budget for new school clothes for her kids feels it. A brave military veteran waiting for better medical care feels it. A small business owner down on Main Street hoping for less government red tape so he can hire his neighbors feels it too. They all need a government that shows up every single morning ready to work hard for them. President Trump understands that truth deep down in his heart. He has been through the tough fires of life, faced every attack the old establishment could throw at him, and he just keeps coming back stronger to deliver wins that make our whole nation feel proud again. I've talked to so many wonderful people across our great land. Kind truck drivers taking a break at quiet diners, happy grandparents at Sunday church picnics, and young parents sitting on wooden bleachers at Little League ball fields. The exact same bright fire of hope burns in every single one of them. One good friend of mine, a retired coal miner from the green hills of eastern Kentucky, looked me in the eye recently and said something I will never forget. He said, "When President Trump talks about America first, I feel like somebody finally put the working man back on the pedestal where he belongs." We need leaders in Washington who match that awesome energy, leaders who never miss a beat. And a kind school teacher raising 3 sweet children on her own told me that watching President Trump stand up for parents and families gives her real hope for tomorrow. She wants her kids to grow up in a land that still believes in freedom, faith, and plain old common sense. These are not fake news stories made up by big city TV networks. These are the real, loving hearts of America. They show us why having active leaders in the Senate matters so much today. The great people of Kentucky and all Americans deserve leaders who stand up tall, cast their votes, and look the people straight in the eye with complete honesty.
McConnell, can you give us some information on why you blocked the SAVE Act, or any information on your thoughts on what Rep. Tim Burchett said about staffers running your office? Any comments, sir?
I disagreed with him a lot because Mitch McConnell gave so much money to Democrats. He gave them money. I had to go get the wall money from the military. I just took it out of the military because that guy wouldn't do anything. He gave it. No, Mitch McConnell's a bad guy, and he's I thought he was lousy at his job, But when they give him the only thing they give him a lot of credit for judges, but I'm the one that got the judges. You know why? I won the election. If I didn't win the election, he wouldn't have had any judges. So. Yeah, I mean,
So when Mr. President,
say it again.
when will you send the supplemental to? Do you have
They
any
didn't
idea
send
when?
a supplemental, but you have him, you have Murkowski. I've done so much for Murkowski. You have the governor right here. Governor, have I done a lot for Alaska? Has there anybody done more for Alaska than me?
You've been the best president for Alaska in our history, Mr. President. I've said that many times.
And Murkowski's terrible to us, terrible to the country.
Mr. President.
And, you know, I almost feel guilty. I do more, probably done more for Alaska than any other state. Not because of her, because it's the right thing to do. She's just an impediment. But she's there. She probably will be a negative vote.
People can just go missing without explanation. Not just Mitch McConnell. You had another member here that was just gone for 4 months and didn't tell anyone where they were, no whereabouts, no transparency. I mean, this is... I don't even know how this is legal. I really don't even know how this is legal. Things do happen, you know, people get into medical incidents. If you're in the hospital, you're in the hospital. But I do think that there should be some sort of, there's a line here. And I think almost everyone can agree that it's been crossed. This is not normal. This is not normal at all.
If you look back a little bit at our great American history, you will see a beautiful pattern. This country has always thrived and shone brightest when our leaders put regular people ahead of the permanent political class. From the brave farmers who stood up in the early days to the hardworking folks who built our massive factories and defended our freedom across the world, the true strength of America has always come from ordinary citizens who simply refuse to give up. President Donald Trump carries that exact same timeless American spirit in everything he does. He is a builder and a fighter at heart. He looked at a nation that was being drained by unfair deals and open borders. And he said with confidence, "We are going to make America great again and keep it that way." His vision is simple enough for any child to understand and love. It is about keeping our borders secure so our neighborhoods stay safe. It is about bringing good jobs back home so fathers and mothers can easily provide for their children. It is about standing tall with our brave military so no one messes with the United States, and protecting the sacred rights that God gave to every single one of us. When things in the Senate move a little slower because seats are empty, it only highlights how much we need that bright, unstoppable energy filling every corner of our government. Everyday Americans feel the deep urgency of this moment. A young veteran I spoke with recently put it so nicely. He said, President Trump showed us what real leadership looks like by never backing down. We need that same strong fight in Washington every single day. And a sweet grandmother who has lived through many elections told me, Trump is the leader who makes me truly believe my grandkids will inherit a stronger, safer America. But accountability starts with showing up. These pure, honest voices echo across our farms, our factories, and our small-town churches. This whole moment shines a bright light on the difference between the old ways of doing things and the America First way. President Trump never rests on past victories. He keeps building for tomorrow with energy, passion, and genuine love for the forgotten men and women of this land. So as we sit here together on this quiet Sunday evening, the truth rises above all the noise. In the middle of it all stands President Donald Trump, leading by example and showing us what it means to fight for our ass. Freedom every single day. His vision lights a bright path of safety for our families, prosperity for our workers, and deep pride for every patriot. We are not turning back. We are moving forward together with hearts completely full of hope, knowing that the very best days for this great nation are still ahead of us. God bless America, and God bless the President, who never stops working for us all. If this story touched your heart today and reminded you of what makes our country so special, please take a quick moment to hit that like button and share this message with your friends, family, and fellow patriots. And if you haven't joined our family yet, subscribe to our channel so we can keep standing together for truth, freedom, and hope. Thank you for sitting with me today, and may God bless you and your family.